Rivals brought to you by Utah Ice Centers has arrived, and we are going to a little NFL draft recap.
Yeah.
Jason, it's always surprising to me. There's crazy things, there's crazy picks that always happen like in the first round. And this year the NFL wasted no time. First pick of the draft, Baker Mayfield. I liked him in college.
Yeah.
I really, he was a Heisman Trophy winner. Thought he was great. I have no problem with that. But he's not the first player in the draft. He's not. And he's not the best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the way, someone just fell in love with him for whatever reason, and they made him the first pick in the draft.
No, you're so right. I mean, these when you go through the whole process, and you get done playing the football season, all of a sudden all this NFL scouts show up. They start working you out, and you're going to the combines, you're doing all this stuff, and it's a whole new world, right? And you have these, I think each team ends up, you have the player personnel department and the scouting department, you have coaches, and you have all these personalities working against each other, for that pick. And I watched them, go for players, my year coming out. They just totally shocked me. I'm like, look like Tarzan, play like Jane.
Right.
I
know.
Our golden rule. Man, the guy's a great track guy, but he sucks at football. His heart pumps Kool-Aid, whatever. We're all looking at it as football players. And sure enough, it worked out like that in the league. But you're blown away. There can be this huge disconnect between player personnel and coaches and management and some owner's personality. Maybe he's the owner. He just loves that kid.
He just loves
right?
the guy for whatever reason.
Well,
and they have to make a choice. They have to come to some consensus on what they're going to do. And there's a lot of backroom bartering between coaches and people are trying to get alliances and try.
Totally.
It's like Survivor in the NFL. Everyone's
totally
building their whole case for why this guy should be the first pick. Now there are guys every year. It's really obvious. This one was not even remotely obvious to me, and I can give you one point about Baker Mayfield, it's his throw ability. You watch his mechanics, his arm movement, and it's going to get exposed to some degree in the NFL. And so for that, to me, it's not. I'm not saying he can't play or he will play, but I'm just telling you,
he's not. Correct it.
Yeah, Tim Tebow, Heisman Trophy winner. Everyone loved the guy. Kind of built out of the same, bravado and tough guy, and I'm going to lead my team to victory kind of guy and storm the beaches kind of guy.
Yeah.
But it's that same, over a long period of time, Tim Tebow is going to have a hard time.
Yeah, couldn't play in the NFL as a quarterback, right? But then was too proud in his case to move positions, which he should have done. A strong coach has said, buddy, you're a H-back tight end guy, so you're not an NFL quarterback, and you can have a long career here. But they try to fit a square peg in a round hole. But man, your analogy, Scott's analogy about Survivor, is perfect. People don't. The organizations hide this, right? That there's all this conflict, but there's conflict, and I got caught right in the middle of it. Right in the middle of it. You're just a naive kid wanting to play football, right? But I found out personally from the player personnel director of the Cincinnati Bengals that there was a big conflict over me when I got drafted there because Dick LeBeau really wanted me, the defensive coordinator. Sam Weish wanted an offensive player, didn't want me. Old Paul Brown was still there. And, LeBeau won out with, so Paul Brown went with me and, Dick LeBeau. And I'm the first round pick, and I come into the Bengals, and I had this animus from the head coach, which I didn't understand at first.
Who was Sam Weish at the time?
It's
like, why doesn't this guy like me?
Yeah, you come in and he's just giving you a raspberry every day, and he's chewing you out, and he's saying mean things about you in the press, and he's giving you the eye at practice, and you can feel it, right?
I can't imagine anyone would ever give you a hard time, Jason. You're just a likable guy. How could anyone ever not? Look at this guy over here. He's a nice guy.
I'm so nice until I play football. But I'm like, I think I draw it like a magnet somehow, and I just had it, and it was miserable to go through that experience, to really have a derision that started at the draft, and they weren't on the same page, obviously. And I found out about it when I was leaving the Bengals, but I felt it that whole time, and it makes it hard to succeed when you have a head coach with, like I said, animus towards you, wanting you to fail, and a D coordinator that really likes you and wants you, but you have these pulling forces, and it happens all the time.
All the time. When I got drafted, I never talked to anyone from the Miami Dolphins. No one ever worked me out. I didn't have any communication whatsoever.
Yeah.
And what I found out later, the reason I got drafted is Coach Shula's son, David Shula, was coaching with the Dallas Cowboys, came to Utah, worked me out, said, this is an incredible workout, and passed the information along to his dad. He said, you really should take a look at this guy from Utah. So from the advice of his son, that's how I got drafted to the Miami Dolphins.
But, they're all trying to hide their cards, right?
Oh, 100%.
100%. I saw the Bengals watching me at the East-West Shrine game, kind of coming over, standing there a lot, when we were doing drills, and I was kind of wondering. And I, on the draft day, I was told by my agent, he calls up and say, hey, Seattle has you on the board. They're going to take you number 18. And I'm like, oh, Seattle, that'd be a great place to live, and good organization, and good city. And, man, I get that phone call at the 17th player, and Cincinnati had held their cards and, kept it quiet.
Didn't let anyone know they were interested, and just kind of,
No. It was what a process. But
and you're like, the Cincinnati Bengals. I had the Seattle Seahawks right in my hands, and I ended up with the Cincinnati Bengals.
I live close to home. My family could have gone to the games. Roxy looks at me when they did, and they're like, where's Cincinnati?
All right, so this year's draft, I have my strong opinions about Baker Mayfield. It's not that I hate him, but it's just he's not the first pick in the draft. That's all I'm saying. So what was something to you that kind of caught your attention with this year's draft?
My sweetheart story of the draft, and I just loved, is Shaquem Griffin.
Yeah, that's really a good one.
Yeah, the one-arm bandit.
Because it's incredible, I
mean, incredible. You watch that guy run his 40, a 4.38 40. Unbelievable. Everything's right. And obviously, you can say, well, he has a handicap. How's he going to tackle with that arm?
Because you have to ask that question. You know how important your hands are and the play. Because you've talked about being injured and being in a cast and basically having a club and having one arm. So you kind of know how it is.
Yeah.
It's important. To me, I think this is going to be fascinating to see how he does, because you can tell he's special, and you can see that in college he was able to handle it for the most part.
Yeah, he handled. I noticed him in that in their bowl game. I looked at him. I hadn't watched him all year, and I'm watching this guy just fly around with great hustle and intensity. He stood out to me right away. I turned to my wife and Roxy, and I'm like, look at this guy fly around. He has one arm. He's got the other ones that are kind of a nub. And, man, but he is
Did
balling.
Roxy know what you're talking about? Or did she kind of
Oh, she's a little football gal, man. Right. She knew exactly.
Roxy's your wife, right?
My wife, sorry. Yeah. But she, and I throw it out there, but, we were high school sweethearts, and she was like college, football players at our house all the time. She knew football, knows football. But I really liked this guy. He stood out. I loved his motor. That's what I really liked. I really liked his motor. So I'm glad he's getting an opportunity. He went 5th round. But he gets to play with his brother, which is, another great part of this story, in the NFL together. And you know what? You'll see how it works out. I'll bet you he at least, gets kept on practice squad. I don't think they get rid of him. I think they work with him for a while. But, can he make it in special teams without, be able to complete that wrap up and grabbing cloth? Does it affect him? Does he miss enough plays where he becomes a liability? Or is he just such a great player that, that one miss once in a while is going to be okay?
Jason, guys don't wrap up anymore.
They don't.
Nah, so he'll fit in just fine.
They don't.
He'll be a Hall of Famer. Don't even worry about it. He's fine.
I am telling you, talk to the great coordinators of the past.
He's foaming at the mouth
Dick
right
LeBeau, Pettibone, the guys, my coaches, they'll say the biggest thing they see, the difference in the NFL today from defensively from the old days, is tackling.
Yeah.
They do not tackle as well, and you do see a lot of the old shoulder thing, and I'm screaming at the TV about wrapping up and the shoulder. So yeah, he'll fit right in, the league right now, and
he'll be a rock star.
Yeah, just the story makes him a rock star.
No, I love the story. So I'll tell you really quick. Here's my prediction in the future. Josh Allen from Wyoming going to the Buffalo Bills. A lot of hype with all these quarterbacks. Big surprise, Baker Mayfield. 4 of them go in the top 10. 4 quarterbacks are picked. I predict that Josh Allen will have the most successful, longest career of this whole group of quarterbacks. We'll see what happens.
I like that pick.
All right, Rivals has arrived, and now it's time to go. You can, of course, text all those other, sites, or text Rivals to 65537. Go to the social sites and like us. And, of course, smart, dial us in on your phone. This round of Rivals is over.
We are off to our corners.
I am not Jason Buck.
And I'm not Scott Mitchell.
But we are related.